She already went back. Stations, 2 minutes, 2 minutes. And stations, I hope you enjoy hearing my personal conversations to random people on the street.
Charged with a crime. Michael George joins us live from Manhattan.
Well, right now, former President Trump is on his way back to Mar-a-Lago after pleading not guilty, and the crowds of hundreds of protesters have mostly dispersed. But this afternoon in court, we finally learned the specific crimes alleged in the case that will be known as the People versus Donald Trump.
We are working to get his story on the air right here. We do apologize, folks, if you'll give us one moment here. We did speak to our White House Washington correspondent John Decker a little bit about everything that happened in New York City. Of course, we saw President Trump walking into the DA's office for his initial court appearance. And here's some of what John Decker had to say.
Now, for more on this story, we want to bring in Hawaii News Now's White House correspondent, John Decker. Now, John, you're also an attorney. Do you believe that this case that the Manhattan DA brought against Mr. Trump is a strong one?
Actually, this is 34 felony counts of falsifying business records, a case that was voted on by this grand jury. They believe there's probable cause to believe that the former president committed these crimes. As to whether or not it's a strong case, it really depends upon how the Manhattan DA's office actually presents this case. Do they rely more on testimony, which would involve testimony likely from the former personal lawyer to President Trump, Michael Cohen, and also testimony from Stormy Daniels? Or do they rely more on documentation to back up that testimony? Things like emails and text messages, business records, tax records. Those are the things that really make up a strong case. And unfortunately, for the lawyers representing former President Trump, there's no indication in this unsealed indictment the type of case and the strategy that the Manhattan DA's office will take in prosecuting this case against the former president.
Yeah, and there were no television cameras allowed in the courtroom for the arraignment. Why did the judge make that decision?
The judge balanced two factors. He called them competing interests. One, the interest of news organizations for showing this televised event, this historic event live, and the other competing interest, which he said is maintaining the safety and security of the defendant and also what he called the decorum of his courtroom. And he sided ultimately with the latter argument. He sided actually with the argument put forward by the lawyers representing former President Donald Trump, who did not want any video cameras in the courtroom. As you saw with the still photos that came out, there are photos from inside the courtroom taken before the arraignment started. So there was that. And in addition to that, there were press seats available for the written press to record it for all of us, essentially what was happening inside that arraignment as it was going on in terms of the demeanor of the former president.
And John, there's no gag order in place at this time, and Mr. Trump has been very critical of the DA and this judge that's going to be presiding over the case. Do you expect a gag order will be imposed at a later time?
We'll have to wait and see. This actually took up a good chunk of the arraignment today, not the prosecutors asking for a gag order. They did not ask for a gag order, but bringing the attention to the judge, the trial judge in this case, some of the social media posts that Donald Trump has made about the Manhattan DA and about the judge himself, and also some of the things that he said in public, for instance, during campaign rallies. And as a result of that particular discussion that the Manhattan DA's office was bringing to this judge, the judge admonished both sides to be careful in terms of what they put out there on social media and also what potential witnesses put out there in social media and talking about this case in public. So, no, you're right. No gag order as of yet. I don't expect one, but it really depends upon the actions of former President Donald Trump if he continues attacking the prosecutor of this case, Alvin Bragg, or the judge in this case, Judge Juan Merchan, in the way he's done over the past few days.
Yeah, and we'll see his remarks later today as well. So, John, what's the timetable for this criminal case going to trial?
What we heard from prosecutors, they would like to see this case commence to trial in January of next year. The lawyers representing the former president said, we're more comfortable with the springtime of 2024. So that's the timetable that we're looking at. If you were expecting this trial to get underway in a few weeks or maybe even a few months, that clearly is not the case. This will happen in 2024, which coincidentally is the same time that the campaign season gets underway. So potentially Donald Trump will be balancing two things at the same time, trying to win the Republican nomination and also dealing with this criminal matter that's now been brought against him.
Yeah, and speaking of the campaign, John, how has this indictment affected, his fundraising and his polling numbers? Usually when something like this happens with Mr. Trump, it kind of activates his base.
And that's what's happened here, Ashley. Fundraising has gone through the roof. The Trump campaign reports more than $7 million has been raised so far for the former president's presidential campaign for 2024. Poll numbers have also solidified their support for the former president, certainly among Republicans. There's been sort of a rallying around Donald Trump thing happening right now on the Republican side. It's going to be interesting in the next few weeks to see how others react to this indictment, including most particularly independent voters. How do they react to this multiple count indictment being brought against the former president?
All right, Hawaii News Now's White House correspondent John Decker joining us this afternoon. Mahalo for the time, John.
And let's give you guys one more live look. This is out over New York City where all of that action there is happening. This is a live shot actually from one of our station affiliates, WCBS in New York City. This is from their chopper looking down. This area has been a media frenzy the last few hours. Once again, you heard there, President Trump appeared in court today. And we're going to play out now that original story that kind of recaps the nuts and bolts a little bit of what happened in court earlier today.
I want to reveal more of the park, if you don't mind.
All right, we are still having some technical difficulties with that package, but we will have the latest on that coming up on later editions of Hawaii News Now and on our website and on later
we do apologize, everyone. It's been a lot going on today. We're going to double check and make sure that we have that story ready if we can bring that to you. But for now, we're going to shift gears to a traffic alert. This is happening out in Windward, Oahu. Take a look at this right here. This is the sinkhole that is happening in the Hau'ula area. Ashley has more details on that. We do know right now that northbound lanes are closed on Kamehameha Highway. A short time ago, some people passing through the area reported a significant amount of water was rushing through from this apparent sinkhole. As you can see, this video showing that water flowing into the ocean there. Board of Water Supply crews have been notified. Again, this is in the Hau'ula area. No word on how long the closure will be in place, but we do know at least one northbound lane of the highway is closed at this time. A 42-year-old woman crossing the street in Lahaina was hit and killed last night, according to Maui police. It happened around 7:40 p.m. on Honoapi'ilani Highway near mile marker 13.9. Police said she was hit by a truck and pronounced dead at the scene. Investigators said she was not in a marked crosswalk at the time of the crash. The driver and passenger in the truck weren't injured. Investigators don't suspect speed, alcohol, or drugs as factors. This marks Maui County's second traffic fatality, compared to 8 at this time last year.
HFD says that house fire in Hawaii Kai yesterday was started accidentally. Officials say flames broke out in one of the bedrooms of the home on Ainaho Street. The damage estimate is $400,000. A couple living there escaped unharmed.
Murder suspect Kendall Gray has pleaded not guilty. This comes 2 weeks after he allegedly killed his landlord, Alvin Matsumoto. Police say Gray attacked the 64-year-old during an eviction. He'll now be held without bail ahead of his trial in June. The DOT is apologizing for a traffic backup on Sunday caused by major flooding in parts of the H1. They say the freeway flooded due to drainage blockers that prevent construction debris from entering storm drains.
It's those socks that you see that block the storm drains in that area. Of course, because those socks block water that goes through to filter out the materials that we don't want in our storm drains. It also restricts some of the storm drainage capacity.
To prevent flooding in the future, DOT said it will remove the drainage blockers whenever roadwork is not happening.
The City and County of Honolulu is launching a pilot program to try to entice new employees. Leaders of 7 city offices, including the Board of Water Supply and the Department of Customer Services, will start looking at teleworking and other ways to expand alternative work options and advertise them during recruiting events. The pilot program will run for 6 months. The city currently has more than 1,800 vacancies.
This isn't just a pilot to try it and, anecdotally hope it works. We want to have a data set. We want to be accountable. Did this actually help us recruit new employees? And will this actually help us retain employees?
Another city agency, the Honolulu Prosecutor's Office, wants to partner with Kapiolani Community College in an effort to fast-track paralegal graduates to fill vacancies.
Well, lawmakers are trying to keep the peace in noisy areas. As Daryl Huff reports, several bills are nearing approval, including one that calls for the use of noise-tracking cameras.
After many years of trying and failing to develop enforceable noise laws, lawmakers say they're finally making progress with the help of new technology and tactics. There seems to be less tolerance for noise after a taste of quiet during pandemic lockdowns, and it's seen more as a public health issue. So newly developed noise tracking cameras, which can follow and ID an illegally loud vehicle, could be side by side soon with red light cameras.
We set up the equipment. We would run it through HPD in different areas to ensure that there was a violation before we send it off to the prosecutors.
Police like it because the cameras and preset decibel readers take human error out of the equation.
As far as the enforcement for police, we're just going off of what is set. So we're not the ones that are determining what the noise level is higher or not.
They would also reduce reliance on safety checks.
People just swap out their muffler after they get a safety check and they're driving around with something really loud. And then how do you catch them in the act?
The Senate's bills would pay for a test of noise tracking cameras, probably in Waikiki.
Everything is pilot. We've got to find solutions. And the noise problem is growing not only in our district, but elsewhere.
Among about 5 bills still alive, one would decriminalize noise violations, reducing the burden on police.
Rather than having to go through the courts and prove some sort of standards and all these sorts of things. So it really simplifies the process and makes it easier for law enforcement to step in.
You seem quite excited about this.
I am. Finally, some things are moving.
The session is far from over yet, but lawmakers are hopeful because many of the noise bills have passed through both houses and are headed for conference. Reporting from downtown Honolulu, Daryl Huff, Hawaii News Now.
We're learning more about a new solar farm in West Oahu. Casey Lund is in Maili to tell us why this project is different.
Aloha from Maili here on the west side, and we want to give you an idea of the area we're talking about. This is a really big portion of land here, 25 acres, and you can see on the map exactly kind of where this is going to go just before you get over to the Waianae Mountains. And I want to bring on the developer behind this, one of the people that is bringing this out here to the west side. Peter Savio is with us. Peter Savio from now Savio Solar Maili. Thanks for being here today. I want to ask you a little bit about this land specifically and why it was chosen and why it's kind of desirable for this project.
Yes. Actually, the location is good because out in Waianae side, a lot of sun, and that's what you need, not a lot of clouds. Also, the property is a setback for the subdivision that was built, so it can't be used for any animals or ranching. Can be used for farming, but it's not really good farmland. So right now it's used as a nursery, but it's the perfect location.
And Peter, I want to ask you about, you pitched this out here back in 2021, and it was met with a little skepticism and resistance, but now it seems like there's some support from the community.
Well, most solar farms don't benefit the community. They just use the land, and all the benefits go elsewhere, or the profits go to the mainland. This is different in the solar park will be owned by the people on the Waianae coast. And as owners under the condo concept, they get all the benefits. They don't leave the community.
And I want to talk to Allie Andrews about, she is the CEO of Shake Energy, one of your partners, the lead consultant on this. So this is unique. This is, I kind of buried the lead here, but this is for renters specifically, condo owners, low-income households. It's not going to single-family homes or big businesses. How is this going to work? Walk us through the process for the layperson. How do you buy into this?
So once the project is operational, which we expect to be in early 2026, homes across Oahu will be eligible to go online and sign up or apply to sign up. We are trying to focus the financial benefits of this project locally first. So our Community Design Advisory Board, which was a group of community members who gave us input on certain aspects of the project, they told us first focus the first 3 months on Maili residents and let them sign up, and after that open the radius to residents of 96792, this zip code, out on West Oahu. And then after that, we'll expand to Makakilo, Kapolei, and then if there's leftover subscriptions, we'll go island-wide.
So I appreciate you both being with us today. Of course, there's a lot more to this project. Again, they're going to be in the sort of permit application process for the next year or possibly a little bit more before they break ground and begin kind of constructing this project. You can learn a lot more about it. Link up to their website. If you are interested in buying in once they're operational, we have all that information at hawaiinewsnow.com. For now, we'll send things back to you.
A historic moment in Brussels Tuesday as Finland's flag is raised at NATO headquarters, the Scandinavian country officially becoming NATO's 31st member on Military Alliance's 74th anniversary. It's a big step for Finland and a big setback for Vladimir Putin, who said part of his reason for invading Ukraine was to push back the NATO alliance. Instead, the Russian invasion prompted both Finland and Sweden to immediately apply for membership.
The era of military non-alignment in our history has come to an end. A new era begins. Each country maximizes its own security. So does Finland. NATO membership strengthens our international position and room for maneuver. As a partner, we have already long actively participated in NATO activities. As an ally, Finland will contribute to NATO's collective deterrence and defense.
Finland's accession doubles NATO's presence along Russia's border. It also adds to the alliance's military capabilities. President Biden released a statement hailing NATO's move to accept Finland. Turkey and Hungary have yet to ratify Sweden's NATO membership bid. Biden and other leaders urged the two nations to move forward with ratification.
An emotional reunion for a mother and baby nearly 2 months after that devastating earthquake in Turkey. Authorities thought the child's mother was killed during the disaster, but science has helped bring them back together. Tina Kraus has more.
It was a memorable moment amid heartbreaking weeks of loss in Turkey's quake zone back in February. A 1-month-old baby girl saved after being trapped under a crushed building for 128 hours. From Betin's smile, you'd never know what she's been through, how she spent 7 weeks in the care of social services and was nicknamed Mystery since authorities thought her entire family died in the disaster. But this month, her little life is taking a big turn thanks to DNA technology. She's flying to a hospital just an hour away to be reunited with someone she hasn't seen since the quake hit. For months, officials have been trying to match her with a relative, but they never dreamed they could put her back in her mother's arms. Nurses treating Yasmin Bedes knew her baby daughter was missing. We thought there might be a DNA match, says the Turkish Minister of Family and Social Services. And it was true. Yasmin had survived the quake, making for a miracle meetup with the mystery baby, who now has a name and her mom back. Tina Kraus, CBS News.
Let's give you another live look. Again, this is a feed from our affiliates in New York City. The sun is just about setting there on the East Coast, but we do know in our island weather, some pop-up showers are happening right now, and in fact, a flood advisory just came across on our phones not too long ago. For more on this, let's send it over to Billy V with your island weather.
7-day forecast for you so you can kind of plan ahead as to what you'd like to be doing. And if your plan includes the outdoors, it's going to be great for you. As a matter of fact, we are almost at trade wind weather today. Partly sunny skies, but depending on where you are, if you're on Kauai, you have enhanced trade showers. I think that Oahu will see some of that, a little bit drier for the island of Maui, and then afternoon, possibility of thunderstorms for Hawaii Island. As we get into Wednesday through Friday, it's going to pretty much calm down, be more of a stable air mass around the Hawaiian Islands. So that's going to mean sunshine, windward and micro showers drifting leeward at times, easterly winds all 10 to 20 miles per hour. As we get into the weekend, we have an upper low that's going to be near the islands, that's going to be coming across the islands, so that's going to bring us possibly more moisture, and then once we get into Monday next week. So your 7-day forecast, though, Monday through Friday looks pretty good.
Oscar winners Ben Affleck and Matt Damon reunite for a new film called Air, which is coming to theaters tomorrow. Entertainment Tonight's Nichelle Turner joins us now with more. Aloha, Nichelle.
Aloha, Dylan. Air tells the true story behind Nike's pursuit of Michael Jordan. Ben directs the film and even got a little help from his wife, J-Lo.
Ben, Jennifer, on your left, on your left. Is it true that Jennifer helped you with some of the fashions, to understand the fashions of that era?
Yeah, listen, it's brilliant and helps me in every conceivable way.
As for Buddy Matt's look in the film, he had to transform into Nike basketball guru and exec Sonny Vaccaro.
I wanted to put Matt in a bodysuit, put some weight on him, and we shot him with a lens that expanded his face a little bit. I'm so accustomed to seeing Matt Damon as the kind of Jason Bourne, can't lose, gonna win no matter what. And I wanted to try to create more of that sort of underdog feeling, You got a name for it?
Air Jordan.
Maybe it'll grow on me.
Ben plays company co-founder Phil Knight.
Tell me about the wig and the tights.
That was the gear that was hot. In '84, that was how you did it. It was a good look. It's back. You don't know that?
A shoe is just a shoe.
Until my son steps into it.
We're already hearing Oscar buzz for Viola Davis and real-life husband Julius Tennant, who played Jordan's parents.
Let the campaign begin tonight.
Hold my purse.
That's right. Hold your basketball.
And can you believe it's been 25 years since Matt and Ben teamed up for their Oscar-winning movie?
This is actually where we premiered Good Will Hunting.
Right here?
Yeah, that theater. I'm nervous. I'm really nervous. Now I have my kids with me. It's just crazy. It's just nuts, man. It's what a life.
And tune into ET tonight because we're with Ben's ex, Jennifer Garner. She's telling us all about getting to work with her friend Reese Witherspoon on their new TV show. Plus, why Jen's kids think she's the definition of extra. For Entertainment Tonight, I'm Nichelle Turner.
Hi, Barbie.
Hi, Ken. Hi, Barbie. Hi, Barbie. Hi, Barbie. Hi, Barbie. Hi, Barbie.
Hi, Barbie.
Hi, Ken.
Hi, Ken.
Well, the trailer for the Barbie movie is out, and we not only see Margot Robbie as the iconic doll come to life, but Dua Lipa and many more stars. Just like on store shelves in the film, there are many Barbies. Ryan Gosling plays Barbie's boyfriend Ken, but there are other Kens as well, which appears to be a source of frustration for him. In the trailer, we see Barbie wearing pink high heels and driving her pink convertible. We also briefly see Will Ferrell, who plays the CEO of Mattel. Greta Gerwig directed and co-wrote the film. It's set to open in theaters on July 21st. Barbie is being released by Warner Brothers, which is owned by CNN's parent company. Well, what an interesting theme for a movie there.
No, I mean, it looks a little dark. I kind of like it.
Yeah, all I can hear is the theme song, "Hey there, Barbie, let's go party."
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if I would sit in the theaters to watch that myself, but interesting nonetheless to see what they can come up with, and green screen and all that stuff. Hey, here's another live look outside over beautiful Honolulu. It is a lovely Tuesday afternoon. Is it Tuesday? Wednesday? I don't know what day it is, guys.
It is Tuesday.
It is Tuesday. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us here on This Is Now. Be sure to tune into later editions of Hawaii News Now for the latest on former President Trump and his court appearance. Aloha, guys.